I just read something so ridiculous that I've been sitting here for the last like 10 or 15 minutes just stewing in my own filthy anger, almost in like this meditative state, just trying to process the absurdity of it. And this is a situation I'm not even involved in, and yet still it has managed to steam my vegetables just because of how outrageous it is. This whole thing is so crazy, I just couldn't help myself but share it with all of you, so I hope you don't mind if I hit the dance floor real quick and bust it wide open for you here. So 2 months ago, some of you may have seen that Afroman posted this music video, "Will You Help Me Repair My Door?" This went viral on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube as well, and basically it's Afroman making a song out of a raid that was conducted on his property based on narcotics and kidnapping claims, and it turns out it was completely bogus. They got nothing out of it, and they kind of ransacked this whole place, and he had cameras set up around his property that recorded all of it, so he made a music video kind of teasing them about it. He made a catchy little jingle about the whole thing, and the title is about, them breaking his door and breaking his gate and just going over the damage that they caused there while looking really silly. And now he is being sued for it. He is being sued because the officers were offended, their feelings got hurt, and they're claiming emotional distress. He clowned on them, and it hurt their goddamn feelings so much that now they're coming after him legally. It wasn't enough to just destroy his property and pillage his home like they were Vikings, and also traumatize his kids apparently, which is something he mentions in his song. Now they want to slap him even more by issuing this lawsuit to him, which I think is just an absolute load of baloney. What a pile of dirty barnacles. 4 deputies, 2 sergeants, and a detective with the Adams County Sheriff's Office brought the suit earlier this month, claiming an invasion of privacy. Let me just stop you right there, Chief. An invasion of privacy, huh? You are on his private property. He has every right to record you. I'm not a lawyer, but would you also make this claim if you made yourself look fucking silly at a Starbucks who has security camera footage of you in their store? Like, let's say you spilt coffee or you were pouring coffee down your lieutenant's butthole, giving him an enema in public, and they're like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. We're going to sue you for an invasion of privacy because you filmed us. Would the argument work there in that place of business? I imagine private residents also still have the right to record you when you are on their property. They don't need your consent. You entered their domain. You stepped into their neck of the woods. I feel like they have the right to record you. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a stupid, paint-huffing idiot when it comes to the law. But I still just find the claim comical. An invasion of privacy. I guess them going through all of his shit, throwing his suits all over the place, breaking down his doors and all of that in his own home. I guess that's not an invasion of privacy. That's just a general wrongful invasion, considering this whole thing was completely bogus. It was a completely botched little raid here. They're claiming that Afroman used their faces from the raid and used it in music videos and social media posts without their consent. Again, I don't think he needed that, considering they're on his private property in the first place. But regardless, they go on saying it's caused them emotional distress, embarrassment, ridicule, loss of reputation, and humiliation. So these officers were born with glass bones and paper skin, huh? They can't take a few jokes on the internet. I imagine they're lying about this. I can't imagine they actually suffered any real emotional distress or anything. I don't think people were on the streets shooting spitballs at them as they walked by, pointing and laughing. Though they should, because they're fucking clowns for what they did here. I can't show the music video, but I highly recommend watching it. They look so fucking stupid in this thing. And it's all dog shit. Like, none of it was real to begin with here. It was just a completely failed raid from top to bottom. And they even had the audacity to disconnect his cameras when they noticed that the security cameras were on. It's just foul. Completely foul. I do hope they feel silly. But apparently, the silliness doesn't stop there. Maybe it's a humiliation fetish, because now they're suing him and making themselves look even stupider, which is crazy. I'll go ahead and boil all this down for you. The plaintiffs are seeking all of Afroman's profits from the use of their personas. That includes the proceeds from songs, music videos, and live event tickets, as well as any of the money that he made using their likeness and his brand and other merchandise. And they're also looking for an injunction to take down the videos. Afroman made like an entire album's worth of songs around this raid on his property, and they all fucking bang. It is so amazing. Afroman absolutely crushed it with this whole thing. Literally turned into like a money-making merchandise music video, like empire, all off of this failed raid from them. And now they're coming to put their hand in his cookie jar and take all of that money away that he made from this whole situation. Afroman is attempting to countersue them for the undeniable damage this had on my client's family, career, and property. Law enforcement officers were acting on a warrant that stated probable cause existed that drugs and drug paraphernalia would be found on his property and that trafficking and kidnapping had taken place there. But it turns out that boogeyman was completely wrong. All of those suspicions turned out to be unfounded, and the raid failed to turn up any real criminal evidence, so charges were never filed. And in Afroman's music video, through the cameras, he was able to notice that some of the deputies may have seized some of his money. He was talking about some missing money that took place during all of this, and whoa, can you believe it? After a subsequent review by the State Bureau of Criminal Investigations, they determined that the deputies had miscounted the amount seized during the raid itself. What a silly little error that was. What a goofy little freak accident that was, that some of the money was just a little miscounted, and some of it went missing, I guess? Oh, that's odd. So that's really this whole situation. They're suing because they looked fucking stupid here, and a lot of people were making fun of them for this whole situation. Afroman put them on blast and made an entire album's worth of content around it, and now they're out for revenge. So I can't show you the music video, but I highly encourage you watch it. I would like to show you a couple frames from it and just kind of talk about it because it is so fucking wild. I'll go ahead and crop their faces out so they can't feel offended or humiliated here. But, so this is one of the early shots. The officers were going around checking every nook and cranny of his property, I guess for kidnapping victims or like pounds upon pounds of weed. And for some reason, Officer Action over here, fucking Danger Commander, comes over and like looks behind the couch here as if he was gonna find like some kind of like goblin or something back there that he was gonna light up. Like, I understand they thought that there was some kidnapping element to this whole thing, but I mean, even in this situation, if there was a kid back there and you climb over the back of the couch, you're immediately pointing a gun in their face. I can't imagine that's the best way of looking for kidnapping victims. Like, the way they go through his whole property is very cartoonish. Here's a little shot of some of the team out here for the class field trip. One of them is dressed like he's ready for actual combat, as if he was gonna get in here like a G.I. Joe episode and fucking hunt down Cobra Commander in this property. So the first thing they did when they arrived is they busted through this gate here and broke it. So Afroman's already down one gate just from them showing up. And then they go to his door, and this is where you get the title of the song. They blast this shit in. This shit just gets rocketed off the frame here. So, you know, he's asking, you know, can you repair my door and my gate? Like, that's the whole point of the song. Like, can you repair this shit? And then also pointing out all of the other goofy things that happened. And here's where Afroman started to get a little suspicious about them potentially taking money from him, so he starts talking about it in this scene right here. This was already after going through and throwing around half of his belongings and like going through each and every suit pocket they could find. And here's the final shot. This is where the fun comes to an end. They disconnect his cameras, so they open up this panel in the wall and they disconnect all the shit, so he could no longer record the rest of what was going on the property. I just really had to talk about it because it got me fuming. To turn around and sue someone for hurt feelings after you were just in the wrong to begin with is just such a level of delusion that I can't help but be upset about. Afroman did nothing wrong. He recorded you guys and then took a bad situation that you have created. The claims you were there investigating, nothing was ever found, so it all seems like bullshit. And he took that and he made comedy out of it. He made content out of it to try and turn something shitty into something less shitty, and now he's being punished for it, or at least attempting to, from these extremely sensitive, I guess, officers that are super offended that people have been making fun of them for this. Like, it's pretty disgusting. So yeah, I just wanted to at least put this out there because it was something that I felt very strongly about. That's really about it. So yeah.